the second part of my conversation with Dr. Carolyn Smyth is now here. And in this one, we get to go over more of the benefits of slowing down, unlocking that power, and how it can impact sleep, nutrition, anxiety, depression, and some great tips and techniques on how to do that. So I hope you enjoy it and you get your mind blown as much as I did in this episode. We'll look forward to part 2.
There are many things you can do to slow yourself down. Yeah. There's no need to watch, an extra video on feed. Like, it's not getting you anywhere.
Yeah.
So just like trying to figure out how to reprioritize, like what is important.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there some ways, as you're talking about sleep, how they can maybe carve some of that yin in sleep or sleep practice?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
First, it comes with getting a sleep journal and writing down what time you're going to bed, if you're waking up in the middle of the night, if you're dreaming, and then how you feel in the morning. Start there and just kind of get a feel for that. What's happening. Yes. Especially for women around your cycle, sleep habits can be a little bit different.
Yeah.
So tracking it for a month and seeing how you're doing.
Yeah. Being curious about it. As soon as you said that, I was there's been that idea I've absolutely loved is what it means to just be curious about it and not judge.
You don't have to do anything right away. Just understand what the landscape is.
I love that.
That's the most important first step. And then it's okay. So, studies show, you should be going to bed at the same time every night and waking up at the same time every night.
Yeah.
So, and even on the weekends, right? That's sort of the best way to keep your body balanced. So understanding okay, I wake up at 6 a.m. on a weekday or, a work day, and then I'd like to sleep in a little bit later. So maybe I need about 6:30 is probably a good time for me, right? So then I need, 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Yeah. So maybe going to bed at 10:30. And trying that for a week and being really disciplined about it and waking up I think that's the piece that's probably the most important is waking up at the same time every day to really sort of reset that melatonin clock in your body.
Okay.
To the circadian rhythm, the sleep-wake cycle.
Yeah.
To keep that on a rhythm is going to be probably the easiest way to fall asleep at the right time.
Yeah.
Is to focus on the wake up time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the simplicity of the math, these are the hours, right? This is my schedule. This is what I know. And then I love the emphasis of wake up time because I know how
snooze. Yeah.
Who invented the snooze?
Whoever
Do you know?
I don't know. And then whoever put it on Apple, 9 minutes. It is not enough snooze time.
9 minutes is brutal. It is. 9 minutes is brutal. It is very true. I could look that up sometime. Who came up with 9 minutes?
It's terrible. 15 minutes, good.
Yes.
9 minutes,
9 minutes. Oh my gosh.
We've all had to mold to that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. And then that snooze portion, right? To me, it can build. It is is one of those, whether I heard it or read it somewhere, they're just recommending the idea of waking up the first time. However hard it is, waking up the first time. Yeah. And I don't do that nearly
9
enough.
Minutes,
but
you're not getting any good sleep. You're not accomplishing anything.
No.
You're just making yourself more tired.
Yes.
So just get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just move and start however it is, right? And I think one of the things I've recognized as well is that inner dialogue that can happen.
Sure. Yeah.
And as you're introducing new things, I love what you're talking about in just starting off with the first step, right?
Yeah.
Gather some information.
Yeah.
And as you're gathering the information, then just try. And I love it. The way you were just even speaking about it just brings such this curiousness to it, non-judgment to it. And it's hey, because on the other end of it, you're gonna feel better.
And that's what you want.
That's what you want.
Unless you don't want to feel better.
Okay, then keep, right? Keep the 9 minutes, right? Just keep snoozing. And
I don't know anyone that isn't looking to feel better, right? So
yeah, and what that can do, right? As far as, I love that as just the practicality of it, and the, hey, like if we're gonna focus in on something here, we're gonna balance things out. Everyone goes to sleep, right? Everyone has to sleep.
Yeah.
And
We all have to wake up too.
Yeah, we have to wake up too. That's very important. I appreciate that end, because that's a thing. We go to sleep and we need to
wake up. Yeah, we've got both, right? Yeah. And we do it every day. So, Yeah.
And how that can just build that emphasis of sleep, because I think then you're building on something that hopefully creates such a positive to it, that then it can lead towards other things.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, when we're sleeping, that's when our body repairs itself. It's when our liver detoxes. It's when we do all the cleanup so that we can thrive during the day.
Yeah.
And if we don't allow it to do the cleanup, and we don't do it ourselves during the day, we just keep building up toxins in our body, and we build up bad habits, and then we build up resentment, and we just don't feel good. And then when we don't feel good, the people around us don't feel good.
Yep, right. Like you're talking about that cycle, right? That can happen and what it means. And, I think that's, part of what I've recognized in that, whether it's positive reinforcement, right? Or whether it's what that just different type of, just like there's a negative cycle, there can be so much of a positive, cycle to it. And hearing how much something like sleep, what we do every night, what we do every day, and how that can really become such a, hopefully an asset.
Absolutely.
Hopefully something that changes from that.
I look forward to going to sleep. I get excited about it. But it can be a hard thing to master, because we've gotten so far away from quality sleep as a society.
Yes.
And so, just thinking about as you go through the rest of your day, how are there aspects where you can slow down? And there always are. But, one of them is when you eat. Just don't get on your phone, and don't eat in the car. Eat at home, eat sitting down.
Yeah.
Plan a little bit so you can, bring your meals to work, and so you're not running to a fast food place. Eating on the go.
Well, because in that moment, if you are doing that, right, you're interacting more with your yin.
Your yin,
Okay.
Your parasympathetic nervous system. You're hey, you're gonna actually digest that, protein that I'm eating, and you're gonna use it, and you're gonna build a muscle.
Yes.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
But when you are, the body doesn't distinguish whether you're running from a tiger or if you are scrolling through Instagram.
Yes.
The cortisol that it pumps out is the same. And so when you're eating and, having cortisol pumped out into your system, your body's I don't care if you digest this. We gotta run. So it doesn't digest your food. And then when you have whole particles in your stomach, then you cause things like food sensitivities and leaky gut syndrome and all the other fun things that come with when you don't eat and properly digest your food, right? You come up with vitamin deficiencies because you're not actually absorbing what you're eating, because you're not actually digesting it. And that has a whole, myriad of complications with sleep and, mental fitness, right? All of those things. When you're nutrient deficient, you're not operating in your best way, So So
this is another. I'm just gonna do that emoji over me.
I was talking to a patient the other day, and I was like, therapists need to know nutrition. I wish they all did micronutrient panels on patients, because a lot of what people are experiencing in terms of feeling anxious or depressed, I think has a lot to do with deficiency in terms of nutrients. And there's a slight, there's a difference between clinical depression and just being deficient in vitamin D.
For sure.
But I think a lot more people are deficient in vitamins and nutrients than we think. Partly because of look at the way we eat, and look at how we're eating, and look at our food, and the way that we are eating on the run, and going, and not eating the way we used to. So clearly, incidents of IBS and gluten intolerance and all these food allergies are popping up. It makes perfect sense that our bodies are not feeling great, and our minds are not feeling great.
Because of the interactions, right? Because of this, I know, right? We started with yin and yang, right? And moving within that and bringing it into this spot of like what you are not only probably putting in your body, right? I think there's like that level of nutrition I hear, but like when you and I are kind of focusing in on this spot of the interaction when you are eating. Yeah. And that's so, I think what's so cool about that is that to me like breaks it down into manageable, right? Absolutely. Like it breaks it down into this spot as you were speaking about it. I'm like I think I can do that. Yeah. Like I think I can actually slow down for a second here, and then my body's gonna actually digest. And like at like a physiological level, you're already pointing towards some benefits of.
Yeah. If it's too hard for you to get to bed before midnight, try this. Try sitting at a desk with your favorite friend and eating lunch. Yeah. See if that, see what that does.
Yeah. Like that part, right? Like, and that is something that, as you integrate that and hopefully, right, can lead to maybe something like better sleep, right? Absolutely. And then it can increase that, and better sleep can then maybe like create then that more of that. Yeah. I wanted to say like, cause right, negative cycle would be going down, like whatever, was tunnel going up, funnel going up. Funnel going up. Yes, a forward funnel. Yeah. We're just gonna funnel. We're gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, that's a new thing. That's our term.
Right?
Forward funnel.
Forward funnel. We're gonna forward funnel life. Yeah. Yes. Totally. Yes. Totally. I love it. Yeah. And I mean, I think that positive reinforcement and that momentum that you can get from it is so cool. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah, and then other things that you can do, and like thinking about how you're going through your day too, is exercising and moving. You can choose to run 6 miles, or you could try walking.
You're speaking to like the wait a second, what I can't walk.
Yeah.
I mean, I can physically walk, but I need to go run 6 miles. What are you talking about? Yeah. Okay, and in some sense, like, tell me, because right, as you say it, I can definitely feel inside of me go like, wait a second, the benefits of walking in that sense would be, can you share that with me? All the things like we're just talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, using different muscles, right? Yeah. I think if you overtrain doing the same thing all the time, the smaller muscles don't really get much activity, and then they stop working because they're like, we're going on vacation, people. And then you start getting really like odd achy joint pain, right? Because
like this ankle right here starts to act up, and then this knee.
Yeah.
I'm not having any of that right now. I promise.
I'm just asking for a friend, right?
That's my friend over there who was talking about that.
Totally. But I mean, like, you have to train all your muscles in your body. Yeah. And so it behooves you to exercise in different ways. And the challenge becomes really making sure you believe that walking is an exercise. And yoga is an exercise. And they totally are. You can challenge yourself. If you're used to challenging yourself doing all sorts of things, you can challenge yourself in a walk, right? Like play around with like how long your strides are, how short they are. Like if you're going to go fast for a minute and slower for a minute, like you can play around with that stuff and really challenge yourself in a slower exercise.
Okay.
And you're really going to, and then like, can you engage like your glute medius when you're walking instead of like, your glute max when you're running, like try to think about the little pieces of your body that you can engage when you're doing sort of a slower, more mindful exercise.
Yeah. I mean, I say it because like my practice is not to walk. My practice is to run. Right? And to do that, which probably would be more the yang. I think I can recognize a little bit of yin and when I'm mindful about what I'm doing. But when I'm walking, I mean, you literally took the thoughts from my head, and put them out there when you're saying like not believing in the impact of walking. Like it literally, the messages inside my head go like, you're walking, you are not like actually, I can't count that.
Yeah.
You can't count that. That doesn't count.
Can't record record that anywhere.
No, like my watch, even though it told me that it filled up a little bit of my circle, it didn't fill it up. Like that goes through my head.
Yeah. Take that watch off. Get rid of that watch.
Like, right.
Yeah.
And just like be able to engage in a different way. And I love it too. Like I hear that belief in my head.
Yeah.
And I go, okay.
Yeah.
Like Carolyn's speaking truth right now. I need to like
and that's
hear that.
But there's such a strength in that, especially now, because our society's not, we're building watches to count your yang, right? Like our systems are not built for yin, right? And so we have to be, that's where the discipline is. Yeah. It's easy to be young. It's totally easy to go and burn yourself out. The hard part is not doing that. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And that's where I think like we should give awards for, like people that get that young piece, you know, and that can integrate that in a healthy way. Yeah.
I agree. Here you go. We want to give awards to yin. Yeah. And what's practiced there. I mean, the balance, and I think what's so beautiful is really bringing into like yin and the benefits of what that is, from, right? Like sleep to just stopping to eat and to walking. Yeah. I'm like, okay, Carolyn gave me 3 things that I now need to go. Yeah. I get to, right? I get to try. Yeah. I like inside, I'm already telling myself and I'm starting to shrink, and I'm reframing that right now and being like, these are things that I get to try.
Yeah, absolutely. And then reflect on how you feel. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I guarantee you're going to feel a little bit better.
I think so.
And that's everyone's goal.
Yes.
Is to feel a little bit better.
Yes. Hence the mental fitness, right? Like you're looking for that in life. And I think that's one thing I've found. And I think for us, you're going to have to come on again. Yeah. Because we're going to have to just keep talking about this. Like we can like keep firing on these things. Because one of the things that came to mind as you were talking about that is like, you know, there is this resilience building in mental fitness, but really there's this, you know, feeling better, you know, and like how beautiful that is. And when you get a chance to experience that, it's not like what feels like these, I don't know, harder habits, or like, because when you talk about better sleep, right? I feel like internally I maybe rolled my eyes a little bit, right? Yeah, and maybe others are like, oh, sleep. Yeah. But like when it moves from, no, like take a moment and check how you feel. Then it becomes like, oh my gosh, I love sleep. Yeah. Like, and what that means for my body.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that many people will say like, oh, I love sleeping in. And that's because you're going to bed late and you're getting actual quality sleep. And you don't have to wait to a weekend to do that. Yeah. You know, you can get the right amount of sleep every night. Yeah. It's just letting go of this, like, I have to do all of these things, or like getting sucked into the rabbit hole of social media and being on computers, because, you know, chemically that it's feeding your dopamine cycle, like your dopamine circuits, and it's like making us feel, it's like, you know, doing drugs, right? Like you're feeling great, like this is amazing, like
it's like,
and then all of a sudden you watch like 17 Taylor Swift videos and you're like, where has the love her? I think she's amazing. Yes. But where that hasn't really gotten me anywhere, except for I'm exhausted the next day. Yeah. And I yell at my husband for something that I shouldn't have. You know? Yeah. Like all because of Taylor Swift. That for me, hello, that's not a priority. Like I'd rather treat my husband nicer, right? Yeah. And so I'm gonna, you know, put my phone on airplane mode, you know, at 9:30 and get to bed by 10:30.
I love it, right? And like all of these things, you know, that you're throwing out in regards to just these little things that you can try, you know, and like I think the challenge is try it.
Absolutely.
Try it and then check how you feel.
Try it, but be disciplined to do it for longer than a day.
Good points. Yeah. Good points.
That's where the key piece of like,
good points.
You can't just try it one time, it's not going to work. That's a very young thing.
Yes.
Try it once and then it's like, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
You know, do it for 10 days. Like you can do anything for 10 days, right?
Yep.
And see how you feel.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, 10 days.
If you're a woman, maybe do it a little bit longer. Okay. Because we cycle in 28-day cycles, right? And so our bodies are different, and our experiences of things are different within a month. Yes. You know, and so maybe for women, do it a little bit longer. Yeah. And, you know, you're on a 24-hour clock, and, you know, you can, yeah.
It's a thing, right?
It's a thing.
Yeah, but I love that, right? Like put a time to it. Let's say minimum 10 days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And try
things.
any one of these things.
And don't try all of them.
Yeah.
Try one.
Thank you.
Try one thing
Thank
at
you.
a time.
Yeah.
Because if you try too many things at once, you don't know what worked.
Yep.
And then you don't know what didn't work. Yep. Yeah.
Yep, that's another one.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm going to try and find that little emoji, right?
Yeah,
like, I'm just going to put that right
put
there
it on
every
that
time.
thingy.
It's going to be the Carolyn emoji that just...
Yeah,
right
like
there.
all of a sudden the top falls off the
Yes, that's it. Done. Oh, man. Okay, so we got to do this again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we got to, because there's so many things, and I'm realizing that just like, whether it's parts and being able to split this up into parts, right, and share more, but I feel like we could just like keep going. So we're going to do this again sometime.
I love it.
That would be awesome. Is there anything in regards to maybe like a phrase or sometimes like I have like, it could be like a quote or something like that you could leave with, share. You just, one of them is funnel forward.
Yeah.
That you've already.
That is ours.
That is, okay. That is ours.
Yeah.
Funnel forward. Okay.
Yeah. But I think a challenge to be able to really believe that the yin is a positive thing is to look for it and see it.
Yeah.
And see it over and over.
Beautiful.
So the challenge I think for folks would be to find the yin in the yang and find the yang in the yin. And like slow down and think like what does that look like?
Yep.
And I think that a good analogy for people that's kind of tangible is like, when you engage your bicep, you need your tricep to extend. You need both of those to work in order for something to happen. And so the tricep needs to let go for the bicep to engage. And you can find that yin and yang aspect in so many things. And that's how you can then identify where you can find some yin in your very yang day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Done and done. Beautiful.
Done.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. Well, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Seriously, awesome. I love having these conversations, but very much so, Carolyn, appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, and then to anyone who is listening and or watching, feel free to subscribe if it's YouTube, if it's listening for podcast, hit the like or follow button, and we're going to keep doing this. So thanks again for being a part of the Mental Fitness Stories. So that concludes the interview with Dr. Carolyn Smyth, Unlocking the Power of Slowing Down. I hope you get a chance to try. Remember, for at least 10 days or more, one of those tips and techniques, yin yoga and meditation, and just some other ways on maybe walking instead of running, right? And with those tips and techniques, I hope to be able to hear back from you, feedback, comments, YouTube, and all those kinds of areas as this mental fitness community is being built. And I'm looking forward to doing more of that. Make sure to, keep your eyes and ears open, as that's something I'll be working on here soon. So remember to be curious, stay curious without judgment. Until next time. Thank you for joining us on this transformative journey through mental fitness stories with Jon Steele. If you resonated with today's episode, don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a review on your podcast platform of your choice. Remember, your story is important, and so is your mental well-being. If you have a personal mental fitness journey you'd like to share or topics you'd like us to explore in future episodes, reach out to us on social media or through our website. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations, expert insights, and practical tips to help you cultivate a resilient mind. Until next time, take care of your mind, nurture your inner dialogue, and prioritize your self-care. Remember, you are not alone, and your mental fitness and well-being is worth the investment. Thanks for being a part of the Mental Fitness Stories community.